Hi, welcome back to the Lamrim, Love in the Times of the Virus. And we're on episode 4. I called episode 4 the best and the worst. And you can see an image here of a couple, and they look really happy. They are they're unreal. They're too good looking. They're both too good looking. It's like Seiji and his friend. And and you know the story, and I know the story. Okay, people ask me, Geshe-la, I want to give up desire. I want to live a simple life. Should I give up having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a wife or husband? Should I give that up? And I have to say, from many, many years of experience, right, that having a good partner, especially a spiritual partner, is the happiest thing you can do in your life. Okay, if it's going well, on those perfect days, it really is like this photograph, and it does feel like magic. And I know people who had a difficult relationship, and then they gave up relationships for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And I don't know, it seems very sad to me. I think you can make it work if you understand the seeds, and it can be the most beautiful thing in your life. I think it's the most beautiful thing in your life. But and I know that when it goes bad, the most beautiful thing in the world changes to the most terrible thing in the world. And there's nothing like that suffering of staying with somebody in the same house or the same apartment, and you used to love each other, and now you really hate this person more than anybody, or they just bother you all the time, and you feel tension all the time. So I was trying this episode number 4. We call it the best and the worst because there seems to be that when something can be very beautiful, it can also be very terrible. It just depends, how well you can keep the seeds going, what kind of seeds you can plant. But it does seem to be in life that the most beautiful things can turn into the most terrible things. Now, why are we talking about that? Let's go back to the text. Masungnani, so he was describing, Pabonka Rinpoche was describing how cool it is if one person is nice to other people, especially in hard times, especially in difficult places, difficult times in history, like right now. People who are sweet to each other, people who share things, people who treat each other with respect and love in these difficult times, then it's like a Buddha came back to this planet. Those people are special. And I have to say, to do small, nice things for other people during this dangerous time is the sweetest. I mean, it's going to make you happy. It's like a direct highway to happiness. And so, of course, it's a terrible thing. Of course, it's hurting everyone. But this is the time when you can be a real Buddhist. You can be a Buddha, and you can be a really special person now. So these are good opportunities. Now, what if we give in to that selfishness? What if we have these emotions? I don't know about you. For me, it's when I can't sleep. It seems like more people are having trouble sleeping nowadays. Of course, it's a dangerous time. It's a time for a lot of worries. We're worried about ourselves. We're worried about other people. So what if we give in to that instinct and we say, okay, now there's 10 packs of toilet paper. I'll buy all of them. Forget the other people, Or my money's tight right now, so let me call the church or the temple or the mosque, and let me cancel that donation I make every month. I'll tell them this is difficult. I'm having trouble right now. I can't make that donation. Forget the Gold Club. I'll cut the donation to the Gold Club. Okay. So It's tempting to think that way. Now, what the text says, Masungna ni gelong la rapti chepedo. There's a sutra called I Love Being Nice. There's a sutra called I Love Being Nice. Okay, Rapti Chepa. Seiji has in his text Dang Chinzin, which is self-cherishing. But here we have Chepa, meaning I really love, I value being good to other people. That sutra says, Lale Tsutum Dewate, Lale Tsutum Dungayin, Tsutum Demba Dewate, Tsutum Chewa Dungelo. It's like the girlfriend, or it's like the boyfriend. Lale Tsutum Dewate. Some people's morality makes them happy all day. Some people's morality makes them suffer all day. Tsutum Demba Dewate. When you keep your morality, when you're nice to other people, that's pretty much the definition of happiness. And Sutam Chawa Dungel Lo. When you break down, and in the days of the virus, you get selfish, and you hold what you have, and you don't share, and you're nervous, and you're tense, and you treat other people badly. Well, then breaking the same morality is the worst thing. So morality, the vows, the commitments you have to be nice to other people, they are like a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you know. They can make you incredibly happy, or they can make you terribly sad and miserable. Okay, if you break those laws of morality, if you treat other people mean and mean and tense and unhappy, then the same vows are going to make you miserable. Okay, got it? Just like that girlfriend or that boyfriend. And I went and got it for you. It's from, I found it. Lale Tsutum Dewate, Lale Tsutum Dingagyu, Tsutum Demba Dewajo, Tsutum Chawa Dungayin, Shindu Lepa Tsutum Kang, Dampe, Midday, Zepe Su, Dua Lani, Newane, Tsutum Naparangiche. If you keep those good behaviors, if you treat other people nice, then it makes you beautiful, and you can believe in yourself. You will, if you share what you have in the time of the virus for the rest of your life, you can believe in you. You can believe in you. And if you break down now and you give in to selfishness, you will have to think about it for the rest of your life. And it's a lot, I can tell you from having lived a long life, you know, the times I was good to other people and I wasn't selfish, they gave me a lot of pleasure. I can think about them anytime. I'm proud of them. Rang Yi Che means that you can believe in yourself for the rest of your life. Okay. All right. Shedan Sudun Yandapa Dembe Dole. Then this sutra called, there's another sutra that he quotes, which is the sutra about people who stay nice to other people, okay? And there's a very, very powerful line there, and I remember it. I've heard it spoken many, many times, okay? And it's Gelong Ta, Soktan Delshing Shiwani La, Lai, Tsurchem Nyangshin Shibani, Deta Mayino. I'm gonna say it again. Gelong Da, Soktan Delshing Shiwani Lai, Tsurchem Nyamshin Shibani, Deta Mayino. Gelong Da, Soktan Delshing Shiwani Lai, Tsurchem Nyangshin Shibani, Deta Mayino. Okay? Losing your life is a hard thing, okay? Losing your life is a hard thing, but losing your morality is much, much worse, okay? If you compare breaking down during the time of the virus and becoming selfish is much worse than dying. It's better you died than that you were selfish during the virus, okay? That's weird, right? It's weird to say that. Geshe-la, everybody was a little selfish. I just bought a little extra toilet paper. You know, I'm not some kind of monster, you know. No. Buddha said a little bit of selfish behavior during the virus is worse than dying, okay? And there's a debate about the spelling here, okay? Those of you who know some Tibetan, lai, there's a word here, lai, and if you spell it with BLA, Paulatatala, if you spell it BLA, it means it would be better to die than to be selfish during the virus. And if you spell it with an S, and the spelling in the scriptures is about 50-50. It'd be interesting to try to find the Sanskrit, because that would decide it. But if you spell it with an S, salatala, it means much, much easier. No problem. Dying is much, much easier than being selfish during the time of the virus. You know, dying would be an easy thing compared to not sharing your money during the virus. Whoa, what do you mean? And we have an image here. You know, and I've been spending a lot of time gardening because I'm locked down, and I used to make Veronica do all the gardening. And I used to enjoy the flowers. And now she's like, okay, you're here. You got to pull some weeds. So what you see here is, you know, gardening is not, you know, planting beautiful flowers, okay? Gardening is sitting there on your knees and pulling weeds hour after hour, okay? It's a dumb thing. In fact, we had a debate, you know. I said, this is not a weed, I'm not pulling it out. She said, it is a weed. I said, but it's a beautiful flower. She says, yeah, it's a weed with a beautiful flower. I said, but if it has a beautiful flower, it's not a weed, we should be growing it. She said, no, this is a weed. I said, who decided this is a weed? She said, I don't know, everybody decided this is a weed. I said, but I like the flower. The bees also like the flower. So anyway, we had a debate like that. And last week I bought some flowers for the fall, because we have to plant different flowers for our bees. We have a beehive. And I found a flower on the package. It says, in Hawaii, this is a weed. In California, this is a garden flower. I said, I showed it to her. This is the emptiness of weeds, okay? Why am I talking about that? When you pull a weed out, you have to be careful not to shake it. Because when you shake it, 100 seeds fall out from the seed pod. And when you pull a weed out, if you shake it, then it creates 100 more weeds. You see what I mean? So why am I talking about that? Being selfish during the virus, not sharing what you have during the virus, you know, it's like a weed. And it's going to create 100 more or 1,000 more selfish events. You see what I mean? So it would have been better if you died just before you were selfish. Because if you're a little bit selfish with small things, during difficult days when everyone needs you to not be selfish, then you're planting more seeds to be selfish in the future. Thousands of seeds. You're shaking a weed. It's a very interesting thing. It would be better if you died than to be selfish in a small way during the virus, because that will create 1,000 more selfish events, and you will suffer much more than if you had died, okay? And you know, it's not popular to say things like that in America. We're not supposed to say things like that, but it's true, okay? It's true. And I didn't say it, the Buddha said it, okay? Better to die than to be selfish in a small way during the virus. It doesn't mean you should go kill yourself. It doesn't mean that. It means don't be selfish. Be unselfish. And don't break your vows just because there's a virus going around, okay? Your vows are supposed to last longer than that. You don't end here. This is not the end. If you catch the virus and you die, it's not the end. You will continue. You will live another place. It's so funny. People say, I don't believe in future life. I say, were you born? Well, yeah. So how were you born? Oh, causes and conditions, Geshe-la, cause and effect. Small causes came together, I got born, you know. So I said, can it happen again? They say, no. I say, In 1,000 years, could it happen again? Well, maybe. In 1,000,000,000 years, could it happen again? I guess probably. In 1,000,000,000 years, could it happen again? For sure. Okay, so you're going to be born again. Duh. All right. Chi chi shena. Sokta dashin shiwe ni. Kewa dini ki tse sepa gyur. Then Pabonka Rinpoche says, why is the Buddha being so radical? Why did the Buddha say it's better to die? He said, look, Sotan Delshin Shiwe ni Kewa dini ki tse sepa gyur. When you die, you just lose one death. I'm sorry, you lose one life. When you die, in this world, during this virus, if you die, you lose one life, okay? But if you break down during the pressure of the virus and you're selfish and you hurt other people, you don't share what you have with other people, then you are affecting, he says, 100 times 100,000 lives, 10 million lives. You're affecting 10 million lives, okay? Delshin, you won't be happy. You won't be born into a good place with a good family. And you are basically sacrificing happiness of 10 million lifetimes by being selfish during the virus. You might as well die. It'd be better if you had died, okay? Pangde, number 2, you will have a terrible life for 10 million lifetimes, okay? Oh, Geshe-la, it's too much. How can one small selfishness ruin 10 million lifetimes? Oh, well, how can one cell from your mother called an egg or an ovum and one cell from your father in the sperm, well, how can they create your body? Which I believe the number is 100 billion. You guys have to check for me. But the number of cells in the human body is about 100 billion. Don't tell me two things can't create 100 billion things, because the tongue you use to tell me that with is already proof that that's wrong. Okay? Kind of funny. All right. And I went and got got this quotation, the Lamrim Chenmo by Tsongkhapa. It says better to die. The word is better. Then I found it in the Kangyur, and it says easier. It's the other spelling. It's an easier thing to die. Okay, so you guys can cook it. Maybe you guys can debate it. Okay. Then the Pabonka Rinpoche quoted Lung Namje, which is an old Vinaya Sutra. I think it's misspelled here in the name. Kanshi tumba tuje temba la, yawar semshin chungse da chepa, teni dele dunga shawan top. Miktsel sekpe ametsel nyamshin. We're kind of going on to another subject, and that's called, what do I call that? Dissing the rules, okay? Oh, like, okay, yeah, I'm supposed to share my toilet paper. Tell me something significant, Geshe-la. Tell me about a vaccine, or tell me about a $1 trillion bailout. But don't talk to me about this little stuff, what I'm supposed to share my toilet paper. Get real, Geshe-la. Talk about something big, And so the next section of the Lamrim is all about understanding that it's the small things. The Dharma is in the small things. The Dharma is in your small behaviors. It's not like inventing a vaccine, or that would be nice, or raising $1 billion for the whole country to get a paycheck. That's good stuff, but the amazing life is in the small things, okay? The beauty of life is in the small things, okay? And it's a beautiful thing, he says. So don't blow off. That's the word I'm looking for. In American English, we say don't blow it off. Don't say, oh, that, come on, stop talking about toilet paper. Start talking about stimulus checks for $10 billion. No, the success of your practice is in the small things, okay? And don't blow off the small things. Many small things make a Buddha, okay? All right. Daily daily dungyo shenwang top. So a person who blows off the small things and says, "Oh, this is not so important. This thing is not that important." That person, shenwang top. This is a very famous expression in the mind only school, shenwang. Do you guys remember? Who can tell me? For $50, shenwang. Other, yeah, other power. Yeah, under the other power, okay? Here, you see it in a normal sentence, okay? So shenwang is the mind-only school word for cause and effect, really. Because causes have to wait for, effects have to wait for causes, Causes are fat cats, effects are their gophers, and effects have to wait on the fat cat. The result has to wait for the cause, okay? So anyway, shenwang, this person who blows off small details of being nice to other people, and they say, "Look, I'm a big Buddhist, I deal with millions of dollars. I don't like hold doors open for people, I'm doing my Buddhism, Geshe-la, on a higher level." Then you don't get it, okay? The success of your practice is in the small things, and when you blow them off, you are hurting the big things. And he gives an example. And it's kind of weird. You have to be in India to understand it, but the young mango trees, which are a big part of Indian life. If you live in India, the mango season is a joyous time. It's a really, really happy time when the mangoes come in, The first mango is worth like $20. And then a week later, they're worth like $5. A week later, they're worth like 50 cents. And a week later, everyone's trying to give them away because there's... So anyway, mango trees are very valuable in India and very delicious and very productive, okay? But they tend to grow weeds around them, So sometimes people will go out to cut the weeds with a sickle, and they will cut the mango tree by accident, okay? So what's the example for, you guys? $30 question. He went to cut the weeds, and he cut the mango tree. He blew off. He said, "Don't talk to me about sharing toilet paper. That's like weeds, okay? Yeah, but if you ignore the weeds, if you don't treat the weeds right, you lose your mango growth. Does it make sense? I don't know. If you don't mow your lawn right, you give your car a flat tire. How's that? Think about it. It means finesse the small things in your Dharma practice, and then you protect the big things. But if you're sloppy with the small things, you're going to ruin the big things. How's that? Okay, famous example. Di na lale gyalbut sik chen yang, de na lenga chepa tobingyo. Tu pe kalung tu min da chena, tundor dogyo ele dablu shin. So in the... Okay, I live in Arizona. We are very stupid people. We don't like laws. We don't like to be told what to do. So we are like the worst state in America with the virus. And it doesn't mean don't come visit me, okay? We will get through it. But we have a huge state. It takes 6 or 7 hours to drive to our retreat center. And you don't leave the state, And we like to drive fast, This is the only state in America where you don't have to wear a helmet on a motorcycle, because we like to go fast and we like danger. So I don't know. It's stupid during the virus, but anyway. So we get a lot of tickets. We get a lot of speeding tickets. The police love to sit there and catch Arizona people because we always go too fast. Okay. Now, ever since I was a kid, when I was a little kid, my mom would go too fast. 4 brothers in the car, and my mom's driving too fast, and the police will stop her. And she never cried, ever. I never saw her cry. I mean, sometimes at a good movie or something, right? But when the police stop her, she starts crying. She's like, oh, I got 4 kids in the car, I don't have enough food, And then the police are like, oh, it's okay. Next time, don't drive so fast. Don't worry, I won't give you a penalty. It's really funny. And then she rolled up the window and the tears have stopped. And she said, okay, kids, let's go. The cop, he gave us a break, So here in the Lam Rim it says, you can get a break from the authorities if you know how to talk, if you know how to cry. Sometimes you don't get punishment for things you do. But what's he going to say? In the world, you can talk your way out of it, but you cannot talk your way out of karma. Okay? You cannot talk your way out of karma. Karma is not like a policeman who's, if you start crying, the policeman's going to say, oh, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Karma never has an exception. Karma always comes back to you. Tupe kalung chimindachina. If you break even a small rule that the Buddha gave us, then you're in for a bad time. Probably you'll be born as an animal, he says here. And then he says, ele dablushin. And this is a weird thing in Sanskrit called ela. And ela in Sanskrit is a cardamom seed, that very delicious thing they put in Indian tea. And I have a picture here of an ela plant. It's got very weird leaves. The leaves look very strange. I didn't number it, you guys. I just threw it in there. Sorry. There you go. Yeah, that's a cardamom plant, okay? And it says here, you're going to end up like that cardamom plant guy. And this is a reference to a person. And it's a beautiful story, okay? So here's the story. And I think it might have to do with the virus, but Buddhist people are supposed to respect the environment, okay? Buddhist people, we are required by Lord Buddha to respect the environment. For example, monks and nuns are not allowed to cut a green plant without a special prayer. We are not, it's a vow. We are not allowed to cut a green plant without a special ritual, because Buddha said, you are destroying a city for tiny, tiny creatures. It's like you bomb a whole city for tiny, tiny creatures. There are tiny, tiny creatures that you cannot see who are living under the leaves, around the plant. And when you cut the plant, or you kill a plant, or you make pollution and you kill a whole Amazon, you are killing billions of people's homes, okay? The word person, people, in Buddhism, doesn't distinguish between humans and animals, okay? When you destroy the Amazon, you are destroying billions of people's homes, okay? And you get the karma of destroying billions of people's homes, okay? And in the Vinaya, we're not even allowed to spit on a plant because we would we might hurt some of the small creatures who live there. That's their city. It might drown some of them. It's very interesting. Anyway, so there was a monk in ancient times. He read this tiny mini vow, mini monk's vow. It's called a tungche. It's a mini vow. And the mini vow is, don't spit on green plants and don't cut green plants without special purpose. And he was doing meditation in a cave, and he's gorek means shaved head, okay? And there was a ela plant growing on top of the cave at the doorway. And every time he went out, it scratched his head, his bald head. And many times he said, I gotta pull this thing out. And then he remembered his vow. He said, no, there are green, there are small creatures living there. Maybe there's a whole city of small creatures. I shouldn't pull it out. But he kept scratching it. One day he scratched it like 3 times. And then he said, that's it. I'm pulling he pulled the plant out. He said, and then he that's bad, but then he said something worse. He said, these stupid small rules. The Buddha piles on us 253 small rules for monks. It's too much, What's he thinking? This is dumb. These monks' vows are dumb. He said something like that, okay? Then guess what happened to him? He was born as a naga, like a small dragon. And he had, I forget, 7 heads or something, and they all look like cardamom plant. He looks like a walking cardamom plant. Okay, so that's the story of this guy. I like the next picture. I'll show you the next picture. If you talk about how does Buddhism speak about the environment, protecting the environment, in the next picture here, you can see someone is drinking water from a stream. So in the old days, 2,500 years ago, when the monks needed water, they just went to a stream and they drink. But they're required by monks' vows to check the water first to see if there's any small creatures on top of the water. And we're even supposed to use a sieve. Monks are supposed to carry a sieve at all times. They give you one nowadays. They give you a kitchen sieve. It's about this big when you become a monk. And it's funny because then you just keep it in your room for the rest of your life. But in the old days, you were supposed to have a little cloth sieve that you keep in your belt all the time. And when you go to a stream to drink, first you sieve the water, okay, and make sure nothing gets killed by you by accident. No tiny bugs get killed by you by accident. And there's even an interesting rule in the monks' vows that if a group of monks goes down to the stream to drink, the guy to check with his sieve should be the nicest one. The rule is, if there's 5 monks, they should pick the most compassionate monk to check the water. Okay, so if a monk is not allowed to even take a sip of water from a small stream without protecting the creatures that live there, then what's going to happen to a whole planet of people who destroy the rivers of the whole world for billions of creatures? What's going to happen to those people? That's the level that we're supposed to take care of our environment, okay? All right. I'm going to keep going. I'm a little bit over, but I'm sorry. It's hard for me to guess how long it's going to take, but I'm going to finish this one. Jikten dear wang chuk chewa gabachambakale dena du gashi kitse chepa jungna gashi lamin jungwe kap yum. It's possible if you're living in a country with a very cruel king that sometimes they will kill you for little things and sometimes they'll let you go for big things. Okay, it just depends on the king's mood. Tumba tuje chengi chetamlen dena kashi kangi te dena kuna chepa nyongte. But if you break even a small rule set by the Buddha, for example, about destroying the homes of small creatures in streams or on leaves, the same thing will happen to you that happened to Mr. Cardamom Head. Okay, he's called Mr. Cardamom. He's called the Mr. Cardamom Head Dragon. Okay, you will become like that. Lu ele dab kyang tungje tsam ke de sepe. In his previous life, that animal with those strange hands pulled the plant out that scratched his head, and he said, "This is a stupid rule." Okay. Kina rangre pamplak bombosok mambo kid the super ditarna chime dojitar. Then he says, "Look, Mr. Cardamom Head became an animal by pulling out a few leaves of a cardamom plant that scratched his head. You and me, we do much worse things many times a day. We're not talking you destroyed a few leaves of a plant. We're talking you destroyed a planet of jungle and trees. You destroyed your whole country's ecosystem. So he says, Jitargyor, you think about it. It's funny, the Lama's like, you think about it. You decide what's going to happen to you. He stopped like that. He didn't go further with that, okay? All right, we finished that episode. So it means be good to your planet. Don't say, these are hard economy. We can use coal. We can burn coal for a while. We just had a virus. We need to get the economy going. It's okay to forget the environment for a while. And that's also really dumb, okay? When the economy is bad, if you want to make the economy better, then be nice to nature and be nice to this beautiful blue sky, green plant world, because that will make your economy better. Okay, all right. See you at the next episode. Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Seiji.